Welcome back to Stationeers, and with a reload of the game, we have a clock that is actually centered. It's actually pretty good. It'd be nice to have the two dots, but I don't think we can actually do that, unfortunately, at the moment in the game, so yeah, that'll have to do. I'm going to rip this off the wall now, because we're going to move on to our next project. I may want a clock, but I probably don't want the electronics here. I'll probably want to hide them if I do that later. And as you can see, it's hoovering power. If that's not my AC unit, let's just quickly check. Is it the AC unit? It could be. No, they've both died. Probably because it ran out of power. I think a couple of commenters did say that this AC unit uses a huge amount of power, so we may need a whole array of solar panels for that just by itself. I think there was comments somewhere between 5 and 8 kilowatts. So yes, we need one of these cables for that kind of thing. Anything over 5 anyway. So let's first of all, let me just rip those off the wall, because what we're going to do is this is okay, but I'd sort of like to fix it. It works very, very simply with these 4 logic units, but it's not, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, it's not truly right. You know, it's slightly off at the start and the end of the day, and it gets better towards the noon and then, you know, off on the other side. So to do that, we need some more logic units. And I didn't want to do that early on in the game, but now I think we can. So let's go and get rid of those electronics. Okay, so in order to make this as configurable as possible to start off with, I'm going to put down a few memory blocks. Okay, we're going to make a guess, first of all, at what the angle of this panel is going to be when it locks down into 100%. We don't know. I've heard it's 15, I've heard it's 13. We just want to test it. Okay, so in order to do that, we're just going to set one of these up. It doesn't really matter which one, but let me just grab my screwdriver. There we go. So let's set that up as, for argument's sake, 13. Okay, next one we're going to set is as the we're going to set the total solar angle range, just in case we need that. And then I'm going to set this last one to, well, we could do it directly or we could work this out, but I'm just going to do it directly now. So I'm going to set this to 154. And just hold 1 second and I'll explain. Really, yeah, let's go this way. 154. Okay, so importantly, it's basically 2 times 13 is 26. So 26 is, that's 174, 180. It'll become important, don't worry. So we could just work that out, of course. We could take 180, which is the range of solar angles we're interested in, and we could just say, hey, multiply this by 2, which is another memory unit, and then we could subtract that from this to get another value. But to be honest, it's just easier to enter them as memory units to start off with, even though they're upside down. That doesn't matter. So we're going to start off with those. So what are we going to do? We're going to need to read in the solar angle. We already have the ability to do that from over here. So we've got a block called solar angle, and we're going to take away whatever our guess is. So if you like, we're going to shift the solar angle that we get that way, you know, by 13. So instead of 0, that would be minus 13. Instead of 180, that would be, you know, 177. Sorry, 167. Yeah, so we're going to shift it that way. All right, so that's easy enough. We just need a maths unit, or a math unit if you're American. And we can take anything around here. Let's just actually put it down here, shall we? Because that'll make it easy for me to drop cable in. And we want to just bring down the supply from over here. We shouldn't need anywhere near as much cable as we needed for the clock, so just bear that in mind. This one will be just fine. There we go. And then we can just complete with 4-way junctions, at least to start with. There we go. And let's just say what we want here. So we want to take the daylight solar angle and we want to subtract the whatever this is. So we're going to need the read labeler. Yep. and we're going to call this something. So let's just say solar panel min. This is our guess. Let's pop that down. So we're going to subtract that using this solar and min, if it's around somewhere. Solar panel min even. Okay, so what is it currently? It's 150 and it's counting down. Of course, we're going to get the problem that when it's below the horizon, it's going to have weird figures. So we have to manage that, but probably much later in the calculations. If I don't run out of power first, because that's annoying. Are my plants dead? Are they? If they are dead, can I just turn these off temporarily? They're almost certainly dead. So I'm just going to, for the moment, turn both of you off. Just in case they're trying to pull power when I need it most. And do I have enough left in my suit? I don't. There we go. And that's going to use power. Let's just turn you off. Okay, so we've now corrected this. Now what we need to do is divide this by the range that that we're guessing the solar panel can actually rotate. Okay, so if it's 13, our range is 180 minus 2 times this, because it's going to lock down on both sides. So obviously 26, take that from 180, you get 154. So we're going to need to divide it by 154. Oh, look, we have it. So let's just grab another logic processor and let's pop you down. And we'll just do the same thing here. Four-way junction is the same cost as three-way junctions, so there's no harm in actually doing that. And I think we can actually... Wow, is my motion faster than normal? Oh, odd. Yes, so we can just simplify this actually. If we just grab our cutters, we can destroy that. Are we going to need that anywhere else? Well, we'll soon find out if we do. There we go. Oh no, that's an input. I needed the output, so I'd have to rotate this one if I did that. Never mind. Let's just put the four-way junction back for now. All right, so now we're going to need to relabel instead. Yep. So relabel this one. Let's say solar angle shifted. And then on this side, we can change over and say we want, that's not a screwdriver, that's a screwdriver. Solar angle shifted, and then we're going to subtract whatever this is. All right, so we can just call this max range, max solar panel range. And we can calculate it, of course, but we're not going to need to, I don't think. All right, so we can turn you on, and then let's just say solar angle shifted. What's the range? There it is, max solar panel range. And we're going to divide. So now we're going to get a fraction. It's counting down because it's nighttime. Then we're going to add one more memory just for arguments, well, not for argument's sake, for use's sake. And this is just going to go up here. We're going to cut off this cable and grab you, put a four-way in here. And this one is just going to be set to 100 because that's what we're going to need to multiply next. So we'll just take this math again. And I guess we should just label that percent. So now we can just say I want to take whatever this is. I really need to relabel all these things as I'm going. Corrected, unbound, solar angle, fraction. I know that's wordy. Couldn't think of anything else. No, I couldn't think of else in the short term. So let's go and do that. So we want the just longest thing. There we go. Correct unbound solar angle fraction. Okay. And we're going to multiply this time by that percent. Oh, it's not connected yet. Okay, let's just connect it up with forward cable again. We may well actually run out of power. It's going to start flashing soon. Okay. And if I didn't mention, by the way, if you already had your data side of things connected to your power input, I don't, but if you do, there was a bug causing power to be emitted from both sides of your solar panel, the data side and the power side. That's now fixed. I've not actually had that, so I don't have the problem. But if you did, you'll notice that your power is halved. So just build more solar panels if you did that originally. Oh, there it goes. It's going to start flashing. All right, I may have to wait till dawn, but I guess we can figure out how long it's going to be. It's 2/3 of the way through the night, or ish. So unbound solar angle function input, and we are going to need percent there. So let's just change you to percent. There we go. Turn you on. All right, so now we've got a value that's counting down, and that percent value is the thing that we're going to want to set these panels to. So we're going to have to use the writer to set those. However, the problem with this sum we've just done is that, or the subtraction and the division, is that outside of the band. Let's take an example. Okay, so let's say the guess we have is 13 degrees. At 13 degrees, what we're doing is taking away. Sorry, this is our guess. So at 13 degrees angle, we're taking away 13 from it already. That's 0. Then we're dividing it by 154. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be 0 anyway. That makes sense, right? If it's 14, that's okay too. We're going to have 1 over 150. So it's going to start to increase positively from 0 at 13 degrees upwards. At the maximum sort of angle at 160, whatever it is, 167, did I say? Yeah, 167. We take away, we're taking that away. You're going to get the same sum, but instead of that, you're going to get 100. Fine. So it goes from 0 to 100. The problem comes when you go less than this. So we're going to have 12. Let's say 12 is our actual angle of the sun. 12 minus 13 is minus 1. And minus 1 divided by 150. Well, yeah, that's a low number, but it's a negative number. So what we need to do is say, hey, if it's outside, if it's lower than this solar panel minimum, or if it's above the solar panel, sorry, not that figure. We need that plus this. If it's greater than plus those two together, then we're just going to ignore it. It's just going to be 0. So we have to set up the logic for that. Otherwise, well, I don't know how these are going to deal with negative numbers. I suppose that's a good. We could figure out. Oh, I've lost all power. We could figure out how that happens and what happens. I suppose we could test it. If we're going to test it, then this batch writer just needs to be set to read from whatever I call this. So I guess we could just grab you and say unbound solar angle. Because if it's smart enough, it may well just clip it to just, 0 minimum and 100 maximum and just not respond to anything outside that. If you don't set that, then it's tough. That would be ideal because then we could just get away with these and we could maybe compact this a little bit. But let's wait for the sun to come up and me to get some power back. Okay, so I've set that up and we have the batch writer now taking the input from the unbound solar angle and outputting it to all the solar panels. So you see they're all at 495 to 500-ish. Okay, so they are following the sun much more closely. Now we can test how good 13 is versus 15 by just changing these over. So instead of this being 13 and instead of this being 154, we want, what is it now? Let me get this correct. We want 150 and 15. All right. So let's just do that. So increase, so oops, increase 15 and decrease 150. And that is not as good. So we're definitely closer to 13. What if we go the other way? Okay, what if we go down to 13 and up to 154, 15. Let's see, what would it actually be? In fact, let's just see what 13 is again. 13, 154. Just so I write this down. 497 and 496. Okay, let's see what that is. Yeah. Okay, so it's important that we don't really look at it when it's flat like this. I've set it to 12 and the other one down to 156, which is, you know, double 12, taken away from 180, so the reduced range that we're predicting. And of course, at midday, it's going to be pretty good. Although has already dropped a little bit. We're getting lower output at 12, even around midday. So again, let's see what it's like at midday, or just past midday now. It is more like 1 o'clock. If I had a clock, I could tell you exactly what time it was. Yeah, so 154, up you to 13 again, and 490, 488. Are you recovering? Okay, so back up to 15 then. And back down to 150. Okay, so we're getting very, very similar results, but the edge case is the bit where we're actually really interested is when these are all the way down. So, you know, once they're at effectively 0% or 100%, that's what we're going to be looking for. So I'm going to watch for those. Now, the other way of doing this, other than these math circuits that we're looking at here, is to try and follow the peak power. That's a much bigger circuit. I'd much prefer having something like this that's still relatively easy to understand, even with, you know, as an extension to this. And you don't have to do as many cabling. But this is much better than this you know, these four anyway. No matter what that angle is, we're close. You know, we're not far away at all, and we're very close to maximum power. As you can see, we're now, you know, halfway through the afternoon, and we're still doing okay. You know, we're still not doing too badly. I think the difference in the angle is probably going to be down to it just taking a little bit of time to adjust each time that we update the angle these goes to. So you're going to see a little bit of variance as it actually goes down. All right, so 494, and let's see what it is again at 13, shall we? So was it 13 and 154? 13, 154. Still okay, but I think let's just leave it at 15, shall we? 15 seems to do just fine, and it's a nicer sum. It's easier to remember. So 15 and 150. There we go. Yeah, and that's pretty good, at least as it's getting towards sunset. Now, the other thing we've got to figure out what's going to happen is as soon as it actually hits its maximum. So its maximum value when things go a bit wrong, 165 degrees minus 15, that's 150 over 150, which of course is 1, and that gets multiplied by, you know, 100 to get 100%. So as soon as it goes past 165 degrees solar angle, yeah, we're going to get some issues. Because it's nighttime, I guess. Oh, well, as far as these are concerned. But it is 500 watts right now in the late afternoon, which is very, very good. All right, let's see what happens when it hits 165. Have I got a readout somewhere? Corrected solar angle. It's a shifted version, so add 15 to that. It's about 155, or it's about to come up to 100. Oh, wait. Have we got some odd behavior? No, not yet. What are you? Logic math, solar angle. Oh, there we go. We just read it out straight away. So 159, 160, Just a few more degrees, and then let's see what happens. 2, 3, 4, and now we'll see. 165. Oh. Okay, so they don't deal with that particularly well. Yeah, so what we may have to do is keep them bound to the maximum and minimum values. So let's have a look at that one, see if we can do something fairly simply. Okay, so I think this should work. Let's give it a go. I've renamed this. It wasn't an angle, it was a percentage. So I've just changed that to unbound solar panel percentage. So that's the one that's going out of bounds. So what we've then got is 2 min-max units. Okay, then we're going to chain them. So we're going to say that with the first one, this is the lower bound. We're going to take in this percentage, and we're going to greater than 0. And 0 is just another memory thing. And so if we're out of bounds on the low end, we're just going to get 0 out of this thing. But as soon as it goes above 0, we're going to get the actual value, which is fine. Okay, for percentage, that is. So 0 and above is allowed. Then we're going to take that output and feed it into this one and say lower bound solar panel less than %. So it has to be less than 100. So if it goes above 100, it's just going to lock to 100. And then we're going to feed that out to the batch writer, which is going to feed that in and then follow these. So I want to watch these now and see whether these work. Okay, time to see if everything's working. 98. 99. And hopefully this is going to lock at 100. Otherwise, we may get some problems. There we go. It's locked at 100. Now, what should happen if we have a look at this unbound solar angling function, you'll see it's increasing. That's going to, and because these are now at the lowest point, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter that it's increasing. At some point, it's going to reverse course and it's going to start decreasing again. So as soon as it passes 100, going the other direction, these are going to reverse just like they did with this simple circuit as far as I can see. Hopefully I've got that correct. We no longer need this or this, so we could take those out. So we probably couldn't compact all of that onto this wall. Though now there are, I wouldn't say, well, it is slightly more efficient. There is a way to do this with one less unit. We still need two min-max units, but we can get away with 2 math units instead of 3 and less of these. These don't take any power, however, and I find it easier to explain it to all of you guys using this simple chain. Okay, so we're going from left to right and then up, and then this is used. We could just put our batch writer here, for example, and feed that way straight back to our solar panels. Are you still at 100? You are. At some point soon, it is going to, yeah, there it is. It's coming down. So we'll see that very shortly. So yes, that's all working now. I'm much happier with that, and that they will, or should, track the sun a great deal better. They're going to use a few more power, a few bits of power, but again, we can afford the power now. I can obviously make more solar panels and put them in, and have given the maximum from each one is yeah, pretty good for me. So I'm happy with that improvement. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this too. Feel free to thumbs up if you have, or share and subscribe as normal. I hope you enjoyed the clock yesterday. I quite enjoyed that build, and this one too, to be honest. Now, if you want to compact this, technically you can get away with only using, 100 in one of them. You can get away with 15 and 1.5. There is a separate guide to that in the wiki, and I will put that one down below, because that's the alternate way. If you really want to compact things, I'm not going to show on video because it's not quite as obvious what's going on from the wiki guide. I'd rather have it like this, but you make your own decision. I'll put it in the description below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.